I have wandered along the bristly brambles, snagging threads across the thorns that hedge my way. If perchance I find the place where I might amble, where the bees and honey trees have called my name, I'll sing, come all ye stitchers, come, while away the time. Fetch the needle and the thread, see what ye may find. My dreams of sewing seams had been fading, and my goals of mending holes had all but died, till the moment the bewitching stitching maiden recommended that I cast my fears aside. She sang, come all ye stitchers, come, while away the time. Fetch the needle and the thread, see what ye may find. So if you find you're out of spirits, out of money, and you're walking down the dusty road alone, come with me to the realm of hope and honey. In the land of milk and thread, you'll find a home. We'll sing, come all ye stitchers, come, while away the time. Fetch the needle and the thread, see what ye may find. Come all ye stitchers, come, while away the time. Fetch the needle and the thread, see what ye may find. Thread milk.
Hi Flosstube, nice to be with you again. Happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves and your long weekend. So glad to be back here with you today and share some cross-stitch quilting and one knitting goodie. Had so much fun reading your comments again last time. It was an absolute blast to reconnect with you again. If you don't mind subscribing, then you'll get the notifications for when my next video comes out. Looks like I've kind of got some stuff blocking here. Yeah, there's stuff all over my table again, like most Flosstubers talk about, because we have so much to share. So I'm going to address a couple of the questions and comments that I got in my last video, mostly going over the intro where the music was playing. There were a lot of finishes or FFOs for 4th of July and summer finishes, so some strawberry things, but mostly 4th of July stuff. So I'm going to show you those. I'm going to try to remember all the names of the charts. If you have any other questions, please put them in the comments about these charts and finishes, and I will get back to you if I can't remember everything today, but hopefully I will. But yeah, lots of fun goodies to talk about today. There were some quilting questions too, so I'll talk about those 3 quilts that were also in the introduction in the pictures. So let's get started. Oh, I have a really good story for you today though, first to start out. So I went to church today and I played the piano for the little kids, so when they have their singing time. And the singing teacher, chorister, was doing a random game where we sang songs, and she's so great, and she talks about what the songs are about. And this one song in particular was about Jesus and about how he gives his love freely to all men, no matter what. And it was a wonderful little song about unconditional love and how we can be like him. And as the teacher's talking about this, Christ giving his love freely, she said and used the word, and that means everyone. And there was a cute little boy in the front row. And he kind of like blurts out and says, yeah, even people who make YouTube videos. Oh, it was so cute. It was so awesome. I hope y'all are laughing along with me right now because I was just dying, cracking up, and out of the mouths of babes, right? Obviously, there's a story behind that video, or behind that comment of his. Can you imagine? Anyway, so cracked me up. So cracked me up. Because we're here having so much fun. Doing nothing but sharing great stuff. Sharing our love, our comfort, our sense of humors. And just delighting so much in each other and how we spend our time. I meant to talk about last time another reason that I decided to do Flosstube videos. I was very inspired, I've told you, by a lot of people, but by Anna in particular on Stitch Roadies and Quilt Roadies. She said once that, you know, you get to a time in your life where you hope you leave your children good information or stories and all this stuff about yourself. And I'm a big proponent of that. You know, genealogy is so fun, learning about our ancestors, but those neat little intimate stories and journals that they kept are what make us connect with them. And so when Anna said this, I thought, oh, well, before she said that too, my husband, like a year or so before that, he came to me and he said, honey, I think that we should do Sunday videos of ourselves talking to our grandkids, and we'll put them on the computer, and someday we'll have a nice little compilation of videos. And he has those. He's been doing them on his phone. There's a few. Very few. But when Anna said that, I thought, you know what? I should do that, and I should do Flosstube, and I can that's the wrong word. I can just keep track of, you know, the things I've made. Not that the kids really want all of that, but I'm doing that for you guys to share and all that kind of things. But how fun. I wish so bad. And my mom and dad, I'm, you know, trying to get you to do videos too. Somehow. Maybe I'll come help you do them. But it's so fun. I would just, I would love and die to have videos of my grandpa and grandmas. And I wish we had this technology when my great-grandparents were alive, but I would just love to hear them talk and sit and listen to them and tell funny stories, you know, and put them on YouTube for all of the good reasons. Not that we all need to put them on YouTube. I'm just saying, record stuff. Record the stories. It's so fun. Okay, so thank you, Anna, for making me feel okay about doing it for my posterity, for keeping records and telling stories for them. All right, let's get back to cross stitch. First things first, the calendar. I love it when everybody shows their calendar and we get to see all their stickers, all the fun stuff that they filled in. I think I showed you May last time. Here's my June. My last video was lots of June. I'm trying to see if there's anything specific on here. Cherries. Cherries. Oh, yum. Can't wait to get another batch of cherries. Oh, and strawberries. June's the month for strawberry. Here in Utah County, we have what's called the Pleasant Grove Strawberry Days, and they celebrate. And there's a local fast food restaurant drive-through. It's just burgers and tacos and stuff, called Taco Amigo, and they make a frozen strawberry shake that is to die for. So good. Through the month of June, I think they still have them, and then they move on to peach shakes. And these are fresh strawberries and fresh peaches that they freeze and then put them into a milkshake. So good. One of my favorite summer memories with food. So here's July. A little bit of July going on. And yeah, I love doing this. I really, really, really enjoy doing that. Whoever came up, Needlework Press, all the ladies who do these calendars, such a good thing, and I really like keeping track of all of it. All right, I better get to my list so I don't just ramble on. I just got done watching Brenda and Laura and did a little bit of stitching while I was watching them. Thank you, girls, for the shout out. I just love sending you floss. I wish I could send everybody who does Flosstube something, but I don't watch absolutely everyone, but I just have the ones I want to give some gratitude towards, who are so funny, help me laugh at myself even, laugh at themselves, share all the good things. And yeah, thanks again for another video, girls. It was very, very fun. And I'm hoping to get back to Pam and Steph because I haven't watched them for a little while. I know they just had StitchCon, which someday I hope I'll get to go see all them and stitch with them. But yeah, that's my plans for tonight, is to watch some of them. Some of Pam and Steph. Just Keep Stitching. That's their channel name. They've inspired me a lot too. All right, so we've looked at the calendar. Let's see. I told you the story about the little boy. Jesus even loves the people who make YouTube videos. All right. Let's see. All right. Foibles. I make mistakes on my videos and then I go to edit them. And while you're editing them, they're also watching them. And then you're like, oh, Jean Farish. I just watched Jean Farish. She kind of hits the nail on the head. These videos are a lot of work. And I'm just laughing at myself because I don't always accomplish all the work that I should in my videos. So just laugh along with me and know I'm going to make mistakes. But I just thought, for the sake of my cute husband, I told you I'd show you a picture of the disc and I didn't include it. But here's what he did. He took my logo and put it on a disc. I love it. He's so cute. So funny. Also that I'll just go to the park and play disc with him more. Here's the cool thing though. If you know and you have in your family disc golf players who you need a cool gift for, here's the company that he got it from. It's called Dynamic Discs, and discs is with a C and it's plural with an S.com. So dynamicdiscs.com, and it's called the Die Max series. DYE Max with an X series, and it's $29.99. You send them an image, like a PDF probably, through an email. They print it on a disc, probably have different weights. You know, some are lighter weight so they go faster, some are heavier so you use them as a putter. Such a cute gift. I think we could have a lot of fun with Flosstube and discs, or pictures. Put, you know, pictures of babies or grandbabies or whatever. You just could have so much fun with those images on discs. Okay, so took care of that mistake last video. Let's see. All right, first and foremost, just to get this out of the way, finally got the freebie in my charts on threadmilk.com. You can go get the Liberty Bell PDF. You just have to put it into your cart and then you'll get an email that has the PDF included, and you get a one-time download with it, so you can put it onto your laptop or your iPad or your phone or whatever, and of course then you can print it out. And I'm having a lot of fun with this whole freebie thing. Let me know if it doesn't work. This is the first time we're doing this, so let me know if it doesn't work. But we did what was instructed. We hope it works for you. The reason I did the Liberty Bell, and I almost got it all stitched, but not quite. It's close, and it's meant to be a little crooked. So when I do my charts, like the Statehood Splendor charts, I don't look at anything other than if it's a real object like the Tetons in Wyoming. I had to look at a picture for that. And then just kind of come up with a rough outline, and then I just filled it in looking like there was snow on it. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the Liberty Bell is crooked and it has a crack. So when you get the chart and it's a little off center and askew, that's on purpose. Because like when we're counting and we're stitching away, it's really, I actually made a mistake on this one and made it too straight on this one side. So there's an extra stitch here, but I didn't find it out till down here. So I wasn't going to take it out, and I'm fine with that because it's still offset and a little crooked. And there's still supposed to be a little star over there, but this is almost done. And I kind of love it. Why did I choose to do the Liberty Bell as the freebie this time? So I've got 5 charts, 5 states done, and then this freebie you can throw into your tray or bowl of Statehood Splendor pillows. But the reason I chose Liberty Bell is because we did Pennsylvania. I did Pennsylvania. Here's how cool, though. I do have a partner in crime with these charts, and it's my husband. I told you last time he's really good on the computer. He fixes the PDF. I send him information on the states that I look up, and it's in the charts. So, like, because we're talking about, I'm just going to talk about it right now and cross it off the list, okay? So I send him information like the state motto. We'll use Idaho here as the example. So when you get your charts, and we're in the process of getting all of these Statehood Splendor series charts on the website, purchasable as a PDF that you can download. It's coming. Doing a chart a week is a lot of work. They are small. I'm not saying that's anything amazing, but this is all new. So we're trying our hardest to get it all up there. But just watch for that. If you live out of the United States and you want to do these, I did have someone reach out to me already who does want to do them in the UK. And I don't blame her wanting to not pay for the shipping on these little charts, because it would probably cost her 3 times the price. So that, I don't know how many of you probably know this, but there's new rules in the USPS shipping internationally. Of course, you've always had to fill out like what do they call those? The form for, exporting. I can't come up with the word right now because that happens when you're filming Flosstube videos. Anyway, because Britain is going through Brexit, but this applies for other companies too, there's a new thing that they want exporters to do, and that's get a VAT number and then charge everyone that they ship anything to 20%. Well, actually, I got an email the other day and I think it said 20 to 29%. Don't quote me on that 29%, but that's a lot. 20 to 30% of the value of what they've ordered. They want me to collect and then pay them so that they can guarantee a more efficient shipping. If I don't do that, they don't guarantee that everything will get there in a timely manner. I don't know all the details. We're still struggling and trying to figure it out, but I have not done that yet, gotten my VAT number or been charging the 20%. I've just been taking it to the USPS, having them do everything, filling out the customs form and sending it out. And I haven't had anybody's get lost yet or them not receive it. I'm thinking they probably have to pay those custom fees on the other end. I'll have to reach out to one of my customers and find out and have more understanding on that. So anyway, PDF on these little charts would be really nice, and I totally understand that, and we're working on it. So here's what it includes, and I'm just going to show you, not that I think this is any better than any other charts, but here's my reason for laying it out like I did. So if you purchase the chart from me, you get a cardstock. It's kind of like a speckled cardstock. It's just my signature cardstock I use for everything I print on or put my packaging materials together with. Sorry, something in my eye. So you'll get this part on cardstock. Here's the front cover with the picture, color picture. And of course, it'll always say the title of it, Statehood Splendor Series, which number it is. This is not the number of when it became a state. It's the number of release of the chart. So Idaho, I did first. So what does that say? First, Idaho. And then fold it in half. This is what you get on the back. So you don't have to open the plastic bag, take the chart out to find out what threads and linen are used. It's all in there. And because I'm doing them mostly all one color, there's been a couple that I've used 2 colors on, but that's it. I'm going to max out at 2 colors per chart because I want these to be simple, inexpensive. The linens I've used are all Zweigart, that are the cheaper Zweigart. So it's like the raw platinum and antique ivory. So these are not hand dyed. This is just the way they come from Zweigart in Germany, and you can purchase those here. So those are cheap. If there's 50 of these to do, that's a lot. I don't want this to overwhelm anybody. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. So here's a cool thing I wanted to show you. Let me get a clipboard. I'm just going to borrow Blue Skin here. He's one of the charts I'm going to talk about today. Or I should say one of my whips. So if you do the clipboards, like I do, I was inspired by Teresa Vinette to clipboard my charts and put them in the project bag, ready to go. Love the clipboard. It just keeps everything hard and in place, and useful, just super useful. So the reason I printed like I did, so yeah, there's nothing on the inside. I know that's probably not the most economical for me, but you know, I wanted you to have this as the front and the back in your plastic bag. Then if you open that up and put it on the chart like this, or on the clipboard like this, with the color side out here, so clipped here with all the words, and then the color out here, then you can take, and I'm just going to flip this really quick. I kept this side of the chart paper, this is just plain white paper, I kept this side blank also, and I know I could have printed it like that, but I was thinking of stitchers and keeping you guys in mind that this is how I would want to use it, and I hope it helps you too with the real chart. So 1/2 of this is facts on the state, because I just thought this would be so fun to get these facts and go through a little bit of information. Some states have more information than others. I just randomly picked stuff. My husband's added a couple things when he's doing the layout for me, and it's not all the information. It's just a little bit, it's just some tidbits. And yes, we just got it all off Google. Usually I've made sure to go to the state website, so like utahhistory.org. So it's something that the actual people who, you know, take care of information in the state or the history of the state put all this information together. So I hope it's all true. I mean, it's got to be, right? Because the state's in charge of it. The historians are in charge of it. So that's on this half, but then if you flip it over, there's your chart. Well, and I know I'm flipping my chart all over the place, but I'm okay with it today because I want to show you how to do this. So if you put the chart here, you can look at your chart, and then you can look at the color finish part too, and never have to take anything on or off the clip, right? Does that make sense? That's how I like to look at it. And because they're small, that can be accomplished. We can have both right there. If I'm doing bigger ones, bigger charts, and I have to put the full chart, you know, out here, and I need this whole entire part that I'm looking at, I always keep the color one right behind it, so at least then I can flip and look at the real thing. So yeah, I hope that works for you guys. Hope that makes sense. I really hope you enjoy doing these. And they are pretty fast, and I'm not a perfect stitcher. I think I talked about that before. You know, I don't have a professional stitch these for me because I want a set myself, so I'm stitching them as I'm designing them, and they're not going to be perfect. Some of these pictures, like I think Pennsylvania's is pretty big, and you can totally see the linen through the threads and the holes and everything. Maybe I won't zoom in that far next time I do pictures. But anyway, so fun, and I'm really, really enjoying learning more about the states. Oh, Wyoming. I just found out well, you know what, there's just stuff you don't know, stuff we don't know. Wyoming was the first state in our nation to give women the right to vote. They were also the first state to allow women to run for office. I think the first judge. Oh, the information will be in there, but you know, Google it. I mean, look this stuff up while you're stitching it and learning more about the states. They were also the first state to let women run for office in the judiciary system, and the first women to hold office in that system was in Wyoming. Out west, what do you know? How the West was won. I love that people were, in Wyoming, I think part of the motto is something to do with equality too. Everybody's equal. Everybody. And we're not just talking, you know, men versus women. We're talking everybody. That is their state motto. And you know what I'm starting to realize too is that the state I live in, I hope I live up to the motto of my state. That'd be a good thing, right? It'd be really good to keep in mind that where we live, you know, what the founders of the state were thinking of when they came up with their logos and their mottos and everything. So, enough about that. Let me make sure I cross that off. Yep, that's good. We're good to go. All right. Looking at my ticker there. Have to make sure I don't stress out my phone, because that happens. That's real. Okay. Questions about the Patriotic quilts. And trying to see if I have, I'll talk about that new project too, and then I can cross that off the list. So I had someone ask me what the quilt, the flag quilt patterns are. So I'll show you those really, really quick. Hold please. Sorry, down here. All right, this was one of the quilts. It was on the fence, hanging over the fence in Flosstube number 2. And you'll see it's a flag pattern. I think this flag in particular, or this quilt, has 12 flags on it. This is from Pat Sloan's website. So look her up on Facebook, Pat Sloan, the quilter. She designed this probably like 10 years ago or something. It's a free pattern download. I believe it has turquoise in here instead of off-white. And I just wanted off-white to go with my flag. My flags. And then the back is this awesome 108. How many of you saw this last year? I found it at Corn Wagon Quilts here in Springville. And it was 108-inch wide backing fabric that is just beautiful. I have no idea who made, I didn't keep that information, but you can look for it. Look at these two birds. It's just gorgeous. Beautiful. Anyway, they might have some more. I haven't checked this year, but you could call them corn wagon quilts in Springville, Utah. And then here's the binding. I love doing striped bindings, and I just did it on the bias. So Pat Sloan on this one. Okay. And, oh, I gotta throw this stuff somewhere into a finished pile. So here's the other flag quilt. And some of you, I'm sure, will recognize that one, but you also will recognize this one. This one is Laundry Basket Quilts by Edita Sitar. She, I think, came out with this a couple years ago, and I can't remember what it's called, but I'm pretty sure it's the only flag quilt on her website, the pattern. I think she had kits for this too. She puts a little bit more pink tones in it, and it's just beautiful. So here's why I have two flag quilts. Was it 3 years ago? 3 or 4 years ago, I decided to go through all my Patriotic fabrics. I put a couple of them in because a sister-in-law of mine sent a picture to another sister-in-law of mine on my side of the family, pictures saying, let's make this quilt. We need to have another Miller Girls, get together, which we haven't done forever. And I mean, I'm talking forever and ever and ever. We should have one again. Anyway, because I had all these fabrics, she sent me the picture. I was like, I'm cutting them all up. I cut up, and I'm making flag quilts. So I cut up enough quilts, plus embellished with not very many fat quarters, just a few. Things like, things like this big floral here. And you'll see flag quilts. There's other patterns, but this one's free. That's why I did this one. So I embellished some of these, and you can see a lot of these fabrics are like from 1992, maybe 1997. They're old. And so there's a little bit of maybe some new ones, but most of these are all like, what does that make them? 30 years old? Could be. So they were getting old, and I was like, what good are they in a box? I'm going to cut them all up. So I cut up enough with the embellishment for 2 of these quilts. 2 or 3. I think it was 2. And I gave my friend Amy, who I just think is awesome, from Under the Garden Moon, I gave her a set. I can't remember if I gave her background or not, but I gave her this. But I had enough to give away. Plus the Pat Sloan quilt, I cut up enough for my 2 daughters, my 2 daughter-in-laws, my friend Letty, myself. Is that 5? 6, 7, 8. That sounds right. So 8 quilts total. 8 flag quilts. 2 of Edita Sitar's and 6 of Pat Sloan's. And we sewed them up. We had a great time. We hung out at the house, played with babies, things like that while we quilted. It was a very good day. So those are the 2 from my pictures from Flosstube number 2. But I want to talk about the 3rd quilt that was on there. Please don't be sad, but I wish, is there an app for putting an image of a quilt into it and saying, what quilt is this? Somebody make that app. That'd be cool. It'd be so cool. Anyway, this quilt, you can see the full picture of Flosstube number 2. Maybe I'll put these, when I edit it, maybe I'll put these in the beginning too, with the music again, so you get to see the whole entire thing. This has really old fabric too. I think I probably cut it out and put it together. I think I put on Instagram like in 1999, something like that. This is a new fabric. This border, the binding is a new fabric from just the last couple of years. And the backing is a new fabric that I got up at Quilter's Lodge. Florals, floral backs. One of my favorite things. And of course, check binding on the bias. And then, because there's applique on it, there's always that question, how do you quilt it? Do you shadow the applique? Do you go around it, echo around it? When I started to stitch art, I loved that she was like, just quilt through it. Just do waves or lines or whatever. Just, it's okay to quilt over the applique. So I tried it. Never done it before. And I have other applique quilts I'll show you sometime that are shadowed or echoed. But yeah, I just had, you know, my quilter Monica, who quilts beautifully. I had her just find a grid through these stars and then just continue it all the way out. Worked great. I love it. Okay, done with that quilt. Moving on. Next Patriotic quilt, besides that star one with the Y seams that I gotta finish that I showed you last time. I'm smiling because I'm like, oh, it's hard. It's a harder quilt, but it's beautiful. Oh, then a new friend of mine on Instagram, C, like the letter C, Bell, Sew, S-E-W. I think her name's Connie. I went through her Instagram because she found me, and I went back and followed her, and I looked at all her cute cross stitching. Oh, and her quilts. You guys go follow her. She has some really sweet stuff. She did this quilt, and this is a free download on Cluck Cluck Sew's blog. No point stars. Super easy. So if you don't have to worry about cutting off the points when you sew this one together, it's going to be fast. She has good cutting instructions. It's fat quarter friendly. C-Bell Sew did a patriotic version, so red, whites, and blues. And that's what I did. I went and got some more red, whites, and blues because I didn't have any more, right? I cut them all up. So I'm going to show you just through the bag what I went with. I found some really on sale pieces, so a couple little florals, some big plaids, which is in my other star quilt, but that's pretty much my combo. Lots of, what did Connie have? She had like wovens, lots of wovens in hers, and that's, I think, what I liked about it the most. So, new Patriotic, and I could sew red, white, and blue all year long. I love it. I talked about that last time. Had a red, white, and blue family room. I love it. So, that's a whip. Well, if you bought the stuff or you it's just kitted. It's not a whip. So I'm not going to call it a whip yet. Okay, moving on. All right. So, all the Patriotic FFOs from my pictures from Flosstube 2. And today is the 4th of July. So, what a good day to show it all. I hope all of July is just patriotic and we just have so much fun. Speaking of patriotic and decorating, a lot of people have talked about like their schedule of when they change things out. Here's what I do. I'll just share it because I like to simplify my life. I know it doesn't seem like I have a simple life, right? But I love it. I tried to simplify like my decorating for my home, my stitching, everything a few years ago. So what I do is on, let's just start at the first of the year. As soon as Christmas is over, I get out Valentine's Day. And it stays up until the end of February. Then, or the end of, yeah, pretty much. I really like Valentine's Day, probably because there's red and pink involved. But I keep that up through the end of February. Then I get out my Easter, so spring and Easter stuff. And it stays up until Easter's over, or the end of April. Then I get out the patriotic stuff for Memorial Day, 4th of July, and I keep it up through Labor Day, because those are all patriotic holidays. Covers a lot. Covers everything. Juneteenth. All the summer. Wonderful holidays. And I keep those up until Labor Day. And then after Labor Day, I get out fall/Halloween. And I keep Halloween up until Halloween's over. And then I keep the rest of the fall stuff out through Thanksgiving. And then comes Christmas. Yeah, because a lot of fall stuff can overlap through Halloween, but the Halloweens, I really like Thanksgiving. So after Halloween, the Halloween stuff goes away. And then it's just fall stuff or just Thanksgiving. And I actually really like it. I keep it pretty simple and simple and grateful, I try to say. And then, but and while these decorations are out, that's what I stitch. Same thing, same themes, all of that. So we're gonna do the patriotic FFOs. I'm gonna take a break right now real quick and just make sure everything's filming correctly. I'll be right back. Okay, thread milk customers, or Flosstube out there, I should say. Here we go again. I went and played back my videos to try to edit them and put them on the website, or to try to put them on Flosstube, and 2 of them had absolutely no sound, and the others did, so I hope this one's working. Here we go though, so I'm going to redo that video and go through and hopefully cover everything that I had in those 2. I think where I was getting to was finishes. So last video I had finishes, pictures of them, of quilts and of stitching in the introduction with the music. So I'm going to show you those now and point out which patterns they are, so that you, if you're interested, you can go look for them. I had a few people in the comments ask about some of those, so I thought I would, besides telling them, tell you also. And the first 3 are these little framed pieces. I think I can get them up here for you. So this is a set from Bent Creek, and it is called the Americana Collection. And when I bought them as the set. They come as a kit. You get all 3 charts. I think they come kitted. You may be able to not find them kitted. See what there is on eBay. For the customer that asked me, or I should say the viewer who asked me about it, I was able to find them on eBay, and she was able to purchase them there. The frame information is on the back of the chart. I love how this one's old and cracked. These are probably, I probably purchased them back in 1999, 2000, somewhere around there. And they're on linen. So that was super fun. That was back when I just came to love linen for my stitching. Okay, I'm going to try to get my voice to work here too, so that you can hear everything. Let's see, another framed piece that I stitched and FFO'd last year. My daughter Abby helped me pick out this frame when we were at Hobby Lobby one day, and I think it's very fitting. This is George and Martha by Plum Street Samplery. I think every once in a while you have to have a fancy frame too. And I think Mount Vernon, which is accurately charted here. I love it. I love it when things are accurate, like flags and all that kind of stuff from our history. But yes, I think Mount Vernon would have a fancy frame somewhere. So it's kind of fitting. Oh, and the white on here, this is mellow linen. I don't remember the maker, but some of you are going to know what this is just based on that color named mellow. And the white is having trouble showing up. But once again, when I express that concern, my husband says, I love it. I think it's cool. It's just barely there. So I didn't change it. A lot of times I start projects and kind of question the fabric or whether the white's going to show up or not, and I've stopped doing that very much. I really don't let it bother me too much because I like that like barely there kind of look. Okay, next ones. Someone asked, and when I posted this on Instagram last summer, another friend, viewer, probably on Facebook, asked me what this was. It's out of print. It is a Fancy That. I had down Lizzie Kate once, but it's not. It's quite sure it's Fancy That, and that it's called Lady Liberty. And I was gonna look up this flag for you. I just switched out the flag here. I switched out her hair color. And what else did I change? The stripes on her shirt. What else? I think that was it. And I think her hair color I chose was maple syrup. And I did that because my daughters have brown hair. So I thought that would be fun for them. But look at this flag though. When you look up images of the United States flags, this one comes up as the very first flag. And its name is something about a rebellion. And I'm going to go close my door because I just remembered you're probably having a hard time hearing me because of the furnace. Okay, anyway, I thought that was a little cool piece of history to throw in there. Yeah, love that. Oh, and I glued this rickrack on. The back is just a denim. The rickrack I glued on, and I use the Aleene's tacky glue when I glue on trims or bows or whatever. Love this glue. And this has polyester filling. And I'm going to talk about the 3 different kinds of fillings in a minute. And I hope I'm not repeating myself because of what might be my other videos, but I'm going to do it again. So, yeah, this was not this flat. Of course, on Vanna's Pfeiffer's tutorials about how to finish FFO, your pillows and stuff. I think you can see it's a little thicker. I don't know. I'm not going to let it bug me. She talks about how you put your pillow or your piece after it's all finished down on a terry cloth towel, and then put your iron on it with steam and just hold it and steam and steam and steam and move across it. And you can get this to flatten out. And it also gets rid of the curves up here on the top and all the sides. I really like how it turned out. I'm so glad I tried that because I FFO'd these last year and then I didn't flatten them until this year. Love them. Love them now. Even more. Let's see what's next on the list so I don't forget anything. As we get to the end, it's on my list. I better stay in order or I'll totally forget stuff again. So, polyester and wool and cotton and sawdust are the 4 fillings that I have given my time to experiment with and see what I like. Polyester is wonderful. It's cheap. I also use Vanna's, where's my bowl? I set myself up to show the sawdust bowl. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, so I use my big old Tupperware. That's a bowl. I put my sawdust in it and fill it up in here. My husband had this in his garage. He'd never used it. It's just for like putting oil in your car. I think we cut a bigger hole in the bottom. It's perfect for sticking into your little pillows. I use a cup to get the sawdust out and put it in there, and then I shove it through, like Vanna says, with a chopstick. Just go get a package of these at Walmart because they will bend the more you use them. I think mine are getting crooked. I even broke one last year trying to do polyester. So here's the thing with polyester. You're shoving it in the corners and it bounces back out of the corners, and you have to like readjust the corners a lot. You also do with cotton and wool, but cotton and wool don't bounce out like the polyester does. The polyester seems to have some spring to it. And of course I do, just like Vonna says, to separate it and fluff it up before you then stuff it into your little pillows to finish them. But all in all, I came to a conclusion that I like sawdust the most. Sometimes it'll depend on the size of the pillow, and I might want wool just because it's bigger. I might want the cotton. I've only done cotton in one item, and I'll show you that pretty soon. The wool I put in, I think, 3 different pillows. When you go to press the wool with the steam, like I was just talking about, the wool bowl fillers or pillows you finished, it flattens out even more because it's wool that has never, it's like fresh natural wool that you get in the bag, and so it's never been heat affected. And the more steam you put on it, the hotter it gets inside and the flatter it gets. You want to be careful you don't shrink it too much, but it really flattens out nice. The cotton does too. The cotton stays more dense and doesn't shrink like the wool. So when you're doing wool in your pillows, make sure you really stuff it a lot if you want to be able to get it really flat and not have it shrink up inside too much. But yeah, here's my favorites: sawdust, wool, cotton, and then polyester. Sawdust is free. Wool is a little more expensive than cotton, and then polyester is cheaper than the cotton and the wool. At least that's what I found. And I got my cotton and wool on Amazon. The polyester I just got over at Joann, and the sawdust I got a source where I can get some free sawdust. And he's a mantle maker right here, just like literally across the road from me and down about a quarter of a mile. They're usually so happy for you to come in and take their sawdust because it just helps them clean it up. Anyway, that's gonna be part of my giveaway for this time too, so I'll get to that. All right, I think I've covered my opinion and basic experience so far with fillers. Okay, another fully finished, or FFO. I actually stitched this about 3 years ago and then found the frame no, actually I found the frame then too at Hobby Lobby. I don't know what this pattern is. I'm not sure if it's still in print. Maybe some of you can comment and say. I think there was a metal silver frame that was just completely flat. Beautiful, sweet little metal frame that you could order for it. I don't know if it's still, sorry, I don't have that information on it. But I didn't even try, probably because of cost. I went to Hobby Lobby instead, got a frame half off, and it fits quite well. Has a little extra on the sides, but I'm super happy with it. I love this flag because it's an accurate 50 stars flag. So yeah, if anybody knows which pattern this is, I wish I had mine. I don't. I think I gave it to someone also to use. Anyway, put it in the comments if you know. America. And yes, my FFOs I'm going to talk about today are all patriotic because of the 4th of July holiday. And yeah, today is July 6th, 2 days later, fixing the video. All right, still celebrating at my house, like I said, until September 6th or Labor Day. All right, next one is, oh, let's not go with that one. Did I show you guys this already? I hope this isn't a repeat. I know I put it on Instagram. I was totally inspired by my friend Sandy, who is doing it, and I was like, I have that chart. I'm doing it right now. Love the bunting, the strawberries. Oh, this guy, which I have fondly called a potato. I filled it with walnut shells. So it's pretty nice and solid, but yeah, if it didn't have that strawberry on, you'd be thinking it was a potato. Anyway, Love this. Thank you, Sandy, for inspiring, reminding me. What a cute finish. What a cute finish. What a cute chart. That's what I should be saying. Chart. Whew. Stacy Nash. Someone asked me once who my favorite designer is. That is a very hard question because there's so many talented people. But I'd say for my style and what I like to do, what I like to decorate my home with, I'd say Stacy Nash. Right up there. And there's several just right there with her. Like Plum Street Samplers. Heartstrings Samplery has way cute stuff. Her hymns that are coming out every month. I started getting, I think I might be behind. I better get on that. Love her stuff. Love Not Forgotten Farm, Brenda Gervais, the Blackbird Girls, all that's my jam right there. Speaking of Not Forgotten Farm, here's a freebie. Tell me if I'm wrong. I couldn't see her name on the chart, but I think you can download this from her website or her blog. Lori Brooklyn is her name. You know, I found so fun. I think we're all about the same age or came from that same, born in the 60s. My name's Lori, spelled Lori. There's a few out there that cross stitch and like to design and like to sew and do crafty stuff. I think it's super funny. Anyway, that's how we spell our name. Might be the Western name. It's definitely not the French name spelling. So this one, how cute is she? Free. I did her on Grandpa's sleeve, and she is stuffed with polyester. And look what I have on the back. So that quilt that I showed you that had the red, this fabric with the birds and the strawberries, 108-inch backing. This is the blue version, which I have on the, I believe, the other flag quilt. Sorry, I didn't show you that. I forgot. But this is the other one. Look at those strawberries. And that bird's holding one in his mouth. These were from last summer. Once again, might be able to track it down for the backs of your Patriotic quilts. I love it. Anyway, oh, look at her teeny shoes. And her lace. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is, you know, Betsy Ross. And how cute is a chair? Oh, on a stitched piece. Love that. Okay, Threadwork Primitives. And I believe this is Threadwork Primitives too. I have 4 kids. Had to do this one. And I did hand stitch on this rickrack. Now the back is just a cute little, I think this is buttermilk basin fabric. And this is jute twine that I glued on. Thought that was just perfect for that. Anyway, love that little stitch. This is polyester too, but I was able to get it pretty flat. After you do flatten it out, you can definitely feel if there's a lump or two in there. I'm just not perfect, of course, at filling these. But Vonna, I admire you. You work that. Oh, I love watching her tutorials too. She knows what she's doing. Okay, happy 4th. Who doesn't love a big pot or urn with strawberries and a flag? This trim I glued on too. It's Mary Jane from, I think it's one of Lois's or Dames of the Needle. But Mary Jane is the color. Lois being ladydotcreates. And there's the back. Super cute. Love that chart. Love these charts. All of them. Okay. I wasn't going to show these, but I'm gonna because they're right here in my dough bowl. I finished them yesterday. So these eggs are pieced and sewn on the machine, and then by hand you gather the bottom. You paint these little paper mache eggs from Hobby Lobby. The pattern for this is on Temecula Quilt Company, and I think it's called Egg Basket. There's also a cute little quilt that comes with this. So if you I can't remember if the pattern was free or not. It may have been. If you ordered the 12 dozen little fat quarters for a set of a dozen eggs. But I was like, I need something for my bowl filler, so I'm going to do a red, white, and blue egg. Because when you only need 12 eggs, but you have to buy 3 packages of eggs, and that's 15 eggs. So 3 left over, red, white, and blue. And that's the fabrics I put on them. I think this is the same as that piece I just showed you, the Happy 4th. And this is the same as what's on the back of the turkey I'm going to show you, and then that just was one I threw in. I don't have it on the back of anything. Here's the turkey. So here's a piece of red work I just found at a vintage market sale I went to up in Logan. Some lady had some old embroidery pieces and lots of you know, tea towels, tablecloths, all that kind of stuff, and I found this one little piece done in red, turkey red, I'm gonna call it, and it's just embroidered. So I brought it home and made it into a bowl filler, and there's that blue. I think that's a buttermilk basin Stacy West fabric also. So this is the one I put wool in, cotton. It's very, very dense, but still, look how flat I got it by steaming it. I like getting them flat because then these sides are almost flat. So cute. Okay. Let's see what's next. The dough bowl. What's in the French basket? So I got a cool little French basket at that same vintage market and have a few little things in that. Oh, the one was Lady Liberty, the girl with the flags. The other thing is Stacy Nash's needle book. Now, I did just watch Lisa Kindred Stitcher yesterday, and she had this, and she'd walnut dyed it with walnut crystals. It was so pretty. Lisa, I loved it. I loved how dark it was. Mine is just basic, probably antique ivory linen, because I love that one from Zweigart. Put my year on the back, my initial here, instead of, I think there's a dog or something here. I decided to just do that, and look at that. I would call these signature Stacy Nash flowers. She's got them on a few other patterns, and I love them. Oh, they're just gorgeous. So the inside, I used that cute little fabric, followed her instructions for finishing it, and then I added a piece of wool inside here to put needles and pins through. So that sits with this little cute thing. How many of you can go back with me to like 1990 when I think it was Country Living or another one of the Country Home magazines? One of them highlighted the artist that made these that year, and the lady's name is Nancy Thomas. She signed all of these. So yeah, 1990. I picked this up when I was in Houston. I think I told you the story about how I got my first Americana home decor. A couple pieces I brought back from Houston from a store, sorry, there called Wild Goose Chase in Old Town Spring. But my sister-in-law also took me to a really cool store called Eldred Wheeler. Is it still open? I'd love to know. Total antiques, maybe reproductions, early American furniture, decor that was so cool. And I think there were a lot of antiques because I remember they were kind of expensive. Anyway, in the Country Home magazine and Country Living, whichever one it was, they highlighted this Nancy Thomas, this artist. Well, look what she puts inside. Sorry, that was the back. I left the price tag on it because I wanted to know what I paid for it. So it's staying. Anyway, you take the lid off. It's got these two little pegs in it that go in these two little holes to keep it in place. But then inside of it is this little angel that she has hand painted. Look at that face. And the wings, the feathers on the wings. There's the back side of her. She comes out of the box, of course. And there is her initials once again, Nancy Thomas 90. Anybody know about this? Okay, so the reason I'm showing you this too is because I loved Carol Saltbox Stitcher's episode when Carol talked about her patterns from and all the dolls she made from Gail Wilson. I have a Santa somewhere I need to make and a little cross stitch piece that I'll show you someday that came with this little teeny frame, and it was probably for one of the little houses that Carol talks about. I think Valerie Stitching in the Barn has made some too. I love going back to that time period and seeing those things. Anyway, anybody have a Nancy Thomas box? She did them for all the holidays, I think, that year. I know my sister-in-law has this one plus a couple others. Oh, love it. It's precious. My kids loved it too. They loved playing with that, and I'm just so glad the angel didn't get lost. Anyway, I forgot this one almost. 1776. This was my June cross-stitch camp project and finish. I barely finished it on June 30th. Started it on June 16th. I think I was designing charts at the beginning of June or something. Hectic. And yeah, had stuff going on, so I didn't start it till then. This is a freebie by Samplers and Santas. Thank you for freebies again, ladies, designers. This star was supposed to be gold, and I didn't have that DMC, so I just assumed it was white and pulled Dinky Dyes Natural for the white because I heard from, I'm gonna forget, I'll try to put it in the drop down box, that this would cover better and you'd see your white better if you used a silk. So Dinky Dyes Silk Natural, and I love it. When I was in Texas at 3 Stitches, I bought a couple skeins of it, knowing I would be using it. This is Barn Red on the red, or Old Barn Red. And the blue is the DMC called for this. So I knew that the 1776 was supposed to be the same as the stars on the pattern, but ended up just doing them blue anyway, like as if they were the top of the flag. This one has sawdust. You'll hear this because I have a mic now. I love that. I love the sawdust because it stays put where you put it for the most part, and then you just keep shoving it down, push it to the sides, shove more in, and then you can just kind of shape it and play with it later. And it still stands up really nice. You probably have to shove a little more in here than you think to get it to hold its shape. Okay, I have used walnut shells in a few things. I did a really big, and I'll get that out and show you next time, maybe a really big tailor's pillow, and I love it, but it droops because it's so big and I could not shove any more in it. But that was back when I was doing my very first finish, so maybe I'll try it again, get some more in there on the next one. Okay, Happy Birthday America. I did get this finished too from Brenda Gervais. Got the music paper on the back. Did some paint dipped pins in it. And this was a kit that I bought from the attic. Maybe they have some more you can still get. Anyway, this was absolutely a delightful, fun stitch and finish. Now, in the instructions, I did something different, only because I think I was lazy, but I also thought it'd be easier to glue on and hold its shape if I did this. I left the mini pom-poms on the ribbon that they came on, because then I had more to glue down. I had the ribbon, so I glued the ribbon in here. I glued the ribbon, pom-poms here, lining them up around the edge. Then I put the top on, like the instructions say, and then I wrapped it with string to get this to glue down, and it is good and it is solid. I just didn't want to do fiddly gluing with the pom-poms. And then on the bottom, I only put glue around this outside edge where the ribbon was at, and then put it around the edge of my paper, and then put it together, and voila. I didn't put it in the middle because I was afraid it would feel dented maybe through here, but you can't see that. That's why I only did the edge. I think it turned out fine. So yeah, you can do it different if you want. You don't have to do it exactly how they say, but man, those instructions are awesome. They are super helpful, and they write them based on been there, done that. They know what they're talking about. All right, so got that. Okay, Tulip Festival. Here's another kind of Easter finish, but I'm leaving her up like all the time because I love red, white, and blue so much. She might even be out for Thanksgiving. I don't know, but man, I love her. I'm going to talk about the bows too for a minute. So this is just a bowl I got at Kirkland's before they closed here in Orem. Here's some strawberries I got from Evan's Frontier Store here in Orem years and years ago, and they are painted linen, and they're hard, and they're stuffed with polyester. Oh, use strawberry makers. Make some and put these X's on them. I think they'd sell like crazy. I have 4 here. I had a whole dozen. I hope I still have them in storage. Shame on me if I don't. But so this is Tulip Festival by Brenda Gervais. I used a Valdani thread for the bunny called Antique Gold or something. I'll show you that in a minute in one of my whips. I changed the olive to a green silk because I just wanted it a little greener. And then I stitched on this edge. Hooey! That was hard. It just takes time. It just takes time because the stitches are one at a time. And then instead of trying to get it to meet up, I just put a bow. And I believe this is antique or vintage rickrack. I think it's called vintage from Lady Dot. Oh, and there's those bees. Okay, so the bows. In the instructions, it says to take all 5 strands of the cotton floss and put wax on it, and then with a needle, put it, through the places it's supposed to go, and then tie the bow and all that. And it works great with cotton thread. You must do that before you tie your bow and keep it in place, but not with silk. On this bow, when I was prepping it to try to get it to stay in place and for the threads to stick together, first of all, it was too thick of a bow with 5 or 6 strands of the silk, so I went down to 3. And then I saw Vanna do this once where she used glue on her fingers, like on the end of ribbon, to get the frays to stay from fraying. So I used glue with this ribbon and just ran it through my fingers and got it to stick together, and it just works beautifully. And I think that's the end of this. Almost finished this segment. Hold on with me for 1 sec. I'm afraid my camera's gonna freak out. Okay, try finishing up one more time. Also, here's something that sits in my stitching spot at my chair. My friend gave me this, and I stitched it in like one night. I could not wait. It's a kit from Shepherd's Bush, and someone asked me about it. I think she was able to find it on their website. They list it, but you could also call Terry or Tina and ask them if they have any more. I think these were probably little bags they had for a retreat. I have no idea. But yes, Sandy gave it to me for doing a stash sale we did together and shared a booth. Super cute though, look at that. It comes with, or at least this that I got from her came with the buttons and the threads. And it does show through to the back inside, but it's the perfect size for a pair of glasses. Oh. Get your readers out. Make that. Okay, whips. Let's talk about whips for a second. I've been doing this one, Not Forgotten Farm, on 40 count. 40 count Weeks Dye Works parchment. And I found this last fall. Let me pull it back so it looks more the right size. At Hobby Lobby in the fall stuff. And this is gonna fit perfectly inside here like a little pillow. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put sawdust in it. I might put walnut though shells because it'll just kind of lay in that basket and not have to stand up. It's just gonna lay flat. That'd be cute. I think I'll do that. So here's what I have done on it so far. It is so close to being finished. And at first I didn't like how loose the parchment was, but then I liked it because this is not a Zweigart Weeks Dye Works linen. It's just the regular stuff that is more loosey-goosey, but the 40 count seems so primitive to me, and it was perfect for this finish. I did change maybe or add a lighter red for a lighter strawberry also. I'll show you when it's finished and let you know what that is. Oh, but the basket on this and the outside edge is that same antique that I used on the bunny in the Tulip Festival, and I love this color. It is Valdani 852 Antique Gold Medium. Sorry about my handwriting, but I hope you can read that. And it's beautiful. I really like the Valdani threads. I should say the Valdani floss that came on a, kind of looked like NPI silk, I'm thinking. Yeah, but it's cotton. It's their cotton floss. Okay, so that's a whip. Almost to be done, almost to be FFO'd, hopefully very soon. My next piece that I'm working on right now is for Cross Stitch Camp for July. And I got a little bit more done today. But that's it from SubRosa. On Etsy, she is TheSubRosaDesign. Designs? It's in my Instagram post about this. So you can find her charts on Etsy. Because I just put in SubRosa when I was searching for her and it did not come up. So you have to have TheSubRosa. I will put it in the drop down box also. And here's how far I am so far. I wasn't going to do the words, but I decided to do them because it's cute. So that house is beige. I think it's Weeks Dye Works beige. She called for parchment, but I'm doing this on Winter's Brew 40 count, so it's a teeny little thing. And I decided to use Weeks Dye Works beige for the house because white, and I'm using whitewash, comes up in the flowers on the top and in the bunting. So there's definitely a difference between the whitewashed antique looking house and that white up there. Such a cute stitch. I really, really like all of SubRosa's designs. Every single one. I think I have a few in my save for later in Etsy to hopefully stitch someday. All right, next whip. This one's for Susan Stanley. I told her I would give her a picture of my One Nation, which Lancashire Stitcher, I believe, just finished and posted about it. If not, she's really close to getting it done. It's called One Nation by Bygone Stitches. That's the finish right there. Oh, and it's beautiful. I've seen a few other people working on this right now too. Probably because Susan talked about it. I started it last year on the 4th of July. This was my 4th of July Patriotic start last summer. And I'm using the called for threads and a 20 count. I think well, obviously it's a Zweigart, but it's Ada, and it's 40 count, and it's like natural. It's a little rough on the threads, but I love it. And Susan was going up and just doing a stripe at a time, so like one strand gets you about that far, and so that kind of like lines everything up for you. But it's a big piece. Mine's, I mean, still going to be big on 40 count. Yeah, so Susan, I told you I'd send you a picture on Instagram, but there's a picture so far. Hopefully next week I'll have a little more for you. And Susan Stanley, that's been so fun. She is great through Instagram and will communicate with you and talk to you, and it's been really, really fun doing that with her. Aww. Let's see, and maybe I showed that last. Did I show that? I don't go back and watch my videos very much unless I'm doing homework for the next video. So if that's a reshow, I apologize, but I guess it's progress, right? Two that I'm dying to start. These are just kitted, but I've had them on my radar since last year when I bought them too. This is a thread keep, both by With Thy Needle and Thread by Brenda Gervais. This one's called Grand Old Flag. And this one is Liberty House. And I've got the threads and the linens all together. I think in essence I'm going to do this one first and then shift over to this one. Some of the linens are the same, or the threads. Oh, those two. Oh no, I have the other linens and threads right here for that Liberty House. They're just beautiful. Red, white, and blue. That one looks purple, but I think it's gray. Showing up gray. Okay, so anxious. Ooh, so anxious to start that. If I had a Jolly July stitch, this is what it is. I'm not sure I'll get to it, but it is Merry and Minty. I think this was a stitch-along for Christmas last year when I was in Louisiana. I printed it out and kitted it up down there, and I think I'm doing it on 40 count. Yeah, 40 count that I bought there at the stitching store in Broussard. Trying to remember what they're called. Oh, something with frame in it, because they do framing. Anyway, it's in Broussard. And that's my meager little teeny start, and I believe that's Dinky Dye Natural for the white. Have to get that done, and yeah, I'm committing to doing the little wrapped mints in a bowl with it, just like Brenda did, because it's beautiful. Oh, she does the cutest things. Okay, the other one is Blue Skin. How many of you have made Blue Skin? This is just the coolest chart. Of course, all I have up here is the chart exposed. But here it is. Plum Street, Samplers, Blue Skin, one of George Washington's horses. With a cherry tree and a bowl of cherries. One of the best charts ever. So I had Craft Center pull me a quick little piece of linen, and I don't know which one it is. I swear I have the tag here somewhere. There it is, 40 count mallow. Mallow is cool. It's kind of like raw or flax or natural, but oh, it's awesome. And it is a Zweigart 40 count. And the threads are so yummy on it. So that's what I'm doing them on. Yay, Blueskin. Maybe I'll do him for my birthday start this year. I think that's a good plan because I finished my birthday start last year. Okay, all right. Here's something I committed to doing this year. Oh, sorry, radar pieces first. This one, and I think Lisa just showed this, but I had it picked and talked about it in my no audio video I took on Sunday. But anyway, this is so cool. The City Stitcher. I found this on a quilter's website last year out of Ohio somewhere. So just Google it. I'm not sure it's still in print, but maybe it is. I'll have to ask my son how to say those two names. They're probably Greek or Roman philosophers. And I wish I knew, but he'll know. And then this one is on the radar. Land of the Free. And this is, I think it says Land of the Free because of the brave. Yep. And it progresses from the older flags to like a more current flag, or the colonial flag at the end. No, it starts with the 13 colonies flag and progresses across to a more current flag now. But look at those houses. That is a beautiful stitch. And I'm going to challenge all you stitchers out there who watch, if you have done this, go post it on Instagram. I'll just get like a whole bunch of people showing it finished, because I've seen some. That one is so yummy. All right, so I committed this year to doing the Blackberry Primitives Maggie Bononomy Seasons kits. So there's 4. So there's spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And here's the one I just got today. The other one I didn't bring in here because it's in my pile to take to retreat, which I'm going to tomorrow. So I'm going to be madly processing orders. And then running up to retreat for a few days. And this is what I'm planning on working on. Carol, thank you for posting your video about technique. And my friend Sandy's going to help me on it. I've done a bunch of wool applique. You can see like this little blanket sheep right here. I have these all cut out. And I've used the Pellon adhesive to stick them all together. Well, it does make them a little bit heavier. And I also stabilized the backs with SF101 so that it's easier to stitch with. But if you use the adhesive, it takes all the pins. You know, you just don't have to use any pins to keep all the wool stitched down. I just love how perfect it turns out. These are a whole different thing. They are primitive, and the placement doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm really anxious to try it. So I've got my spring one I have not even touched yet, and I've got the summer one, hoping to get them all cut out and done at retreat, and then I'll show them to you. I'll let you know what they look like and how it went. All right, so that's a whip. Let's see. SB Sew Bag Kit from, what is that? Oh, Shepherd's Bush. I already showed you that. Okay, so really fast, I am going to show you a little bit of haul because it actually just came. Besides that wool stuff, I finally got my stuff from the attic that I've been waiting for. I got that happy birthday kit and finished it, but these were charts they were waiting for, and some linen, which didn't come in, so we substituted a red linen. So I'm going to show you that today also. I'm hoping this doesn't get too long because we're running out of time. Blackbird Quilt Along. Blackbird Designs Quilt Along. So sorry to hear about Barb. She will be seriously missed. But her designs will live on forever and ever as parts of beauty in our home. So Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, talked about it. Olivia B. talked about the Blackbird Sal, and I think Lori of Mischievous Stitches. I will put those in the drop-down box. You can go watch them. They go through the books. They talk a lot about all the patterns, and it's awesome. So here's what I did. I ordered one. I had this one already that I got last year, Cold Winds, which I think is gorgeous. This is on the radar to do someday. But to go along and in memory of Barb and just really got to do something now, I chose a smaller one out of here. So here's the one I chose to do. It's this table runner slash lay at the end of your bed piece. It has the house and the vines and the berries, the basket of flowers. So that's what I'm choosing for my Blackbird Design quilt along piece. Really looking forward to that. Here are some books that I am going to recommend that I picked up last year or the year before at Joann. Beyond the Battlefield. This is a cool book. I'm not going to go through it right now, maybe next time. But if you don't have it and you like Civil War and you like history, you must get this book. It highlights people from the Civil War that did amazing things during that time period. I'm definitely making a couple of things out of here someday. And Bonnie Sullivan's All for Fall. This has the cutest shapes for fall. For wool applique, regular applique. It's got cute quilts in it like this one on the front. You could do in Civil War fabrics. Oh, it is a way good book. See that scary pumpkin? She's got a couple of those on candlesticks. Go get them. Get ready for fall. I always like doing Civil War fabric quilts too in the fall. It's very fun. They seem like a very fall type project. All right, real quick updates. Acorns, they're going to be available really soon. If you don't know what these are, go watch Flosstube number 2 of mine where I talk about them. I know it's a long video. Get your stitching and your knit now and we'll get through it. I went and met with Clyde and Brenda who make these last week, and they are really excited that you guys are interested in buying these. And they are a retired couple who are very talented. She actually used to stitch embroidered pillows and sell them in a shop and at different sales, you know, like where you go buy handmade stuff. She's super talented. He's super talented. The prices will be up soon. I will send out a newsletter when they're available. The other thing is, okay, we went to retreat. I told you about that, a quilting retreat just recently, and Amy McClellan, who runs the Under the Garden Moon retreats, had Clyde also make us another item, and Clyde has agreed to, he's super excited about it, getting a price on these for me, and I will sell them for him on my website too. This is a beautiful beehive, right? With a hole in it, but look at its purpose. He also makes a beautiful yarn bowl that is wood, and he laminates 3 or 4 different woods together and then hones them out, and that's coming soon too. He's just finishing that up today. But the beehive, how many of you want a beehive? This I think is super cool for when you're doing applique. Put your applique thread right here, run the end of the thread through this hole, and then as you're watching your favorite shows, you pull that thread out, snip it off, thread it through your needle, and have a beehive sitting by you. I love this so much. I have this on my nightstand in my bedroom. I'm not even using it. I just want to look at it all the time. So that's coming soon too. Watch for those. Let's see. Beautiful pieces have already had a ton of interest, and I know, they're just tickled. And I know you guys are going to love them because they're very, very well made. So sorry I'm drying up, but I'm going to try to finish. I've got like 10 minutes left. Okay, haul from the attic. Sorry for the noise. With their beautiful tissue. Love it. Here's what when they did their last video, when Carol and Jean did their last attic video, I caved. I gave in. These were my favorite things, and they were all on the Scarlet House table. And I know several people have posted and are stitching them already, but I just got my pattern, so we'll see which one I choose first. Here, of course, is Roses for Ruby. Oh, look at the flowers in the middle. Oh, sorry for the glare. That is a good piece. Of course, I have other pigs. I'm going to finish before I start these. I promise. I know some of you are saying, but why? It just, oh, I get a lot of endorphins off finishing things, so I'm going to finish those bigger pieces. Okay, love that one. That's Floral Motif Sampler. And then I got this one kitted, Entwined Hearts. Now, they didn't have any Aztec red, so I just trusted them and said, send me what you've got. It's more of a raspberry red, which I actually really like because I'm more of a pink person than an orange person. As far as that doesn't mean I don't use orange threads because I love them. Strawberries are kind of on the orange side. See, I like doing them like the colors that they're real, but raspberries, you guys, my mom, when I was a kid, had the best raspberry patch in the garden. And she would bottle raspberries and make raspberry jam. Have you guys had bottled raspberries where they're just bottled like peaches or pears and you eat them in a bowl like fruit? I'm sorry for you if you haven't had that. Anyway, raspberries next to cherries, raspberries, my favorites. So here's the fabric that they sent that they had. I am really excited to use this. It's a lighter kind of raspberry red by Fox and Rabbit called, and I don't know that I can read this. Is it Warata? Here, I'll let you read it. And you can determine what that is. It's 40 count, Fox and Rabbit. Warata, is that an H or an L, or Waratal? I don't know that word. Shame on me. But anyway, this is the red. And you only need 4 silks it calls for, but she does a great conversion if you don't want to use the silks. But on 40 count, this is going to be so gorgeous. So there's the 4 colors on it. Do it. Do this one. That's probably my favorite of her newest pieces and new releases. And then I thought I'd try, because they had them when I watched the video, a couple of linens that they had, and they're both kind of on the gray side. So here is Seraphim Boston, and it is gorgeous. You can see kind of some veining through it, but it's not too mottled. It's just perfect. The Boston is yummy. Okay, that bag glare is really obnoxious. That's showing up very true. Very true. Okay, that one's awesome. The other one I got that I've wanted for a while, I've wanted cedar plank, but this is called vintage cedar plank, so I think it's a little bit darker. This is the 36 count, and it's by Lakeside. I think this might be my first Lakeside linen purchase. Oh, it's modeled perfectly too. But you can see it's a little darker. They're both kind of in the gray family, but the vintage cedar, and they're both Zweigart based. I'm excited. Excited to use those. Okay, last thing I'm going to talk about really quick is new charts. They're out. And we accomplished yesterday the biggest feat, I think, ever between my husband and I on the website, because I had requests mostly from people in other countries. They want to stitch the Statehood Splendor series. I think that's so cute. I don't know if they're born in America, or I know there's a lot of people like Lancashire Stitcher who loves to do Americana stuff, stitches. So, big feat. They are now available for purchase with a one-time download, and you have to download it within 30 days. You have to put it in your cart, pay for it, and then cheers, you don't have to pay shipping. PDFs on Statehood Splendor series. Personally, I like charts by the designers. I like feeling the paper they put it on, their choices, everything. But PDFs are super convenient and awesome for people who live outside of the United States. So they're there. We did it. My husband in Louisiana, when he's not working, he does stuff for me on the computer, like finish the chart, PDF that I take to the printer. And I apologize, the Utah one is a little bit crooked on the front. We gotta talk. He and I'll have to have a meeting and talk about it, right? Okay, but it's printed, it's ready to go, still perfect. It just isn't as centered as I would like it to be. All right, and just so you know, this is my ring of threads for Splendid Statehood Splendor series. This is the gold I'm using throughout. It's called Gingerbread by Weeks Dye Work. No, Classic Color Works. I might throw in another gold. We'll see when I get to those freebies. I do like a big star or something. But this is what I'm doing, and I'm keeping them in one of my bags I got from Amazon. Thanks, Brenda, Brenda and the Serial Starter, who said get these because then you can download and print all your PDFs, and then you have the bags to put them in. Just make sure 8.5 by 11s will fit in there. So this is how I'm keeping it for the year of stitching my Statehood Splendor series. And thank you, Pam and Steph and Brenda and Laura, for showing the Christmas thread milk, which I think just sold out. But I've got to do some shipping and some counting, and I'm going to have a few more, I think, that I will put back in stock, but it's not much. I will send out a newsletter when that happens. We're getting better at newsletters and how to do them. Whew. Still such a newbie. Anyway, there's Idaho. You've already seen that. There's Delaware with the blue hen. By the way, I don't know if I told you or not, when I used this thread on Delaware, I made sure to do some dark up here on his neck and his breast, and then did the lighter stuff here. So do that moving around with the darks and the lights, switching it up on those. Here's the next ones. Number 3 is Wyoming. We've got a bison, the Tetons, a cowboy hat, because I don't know anyone who lives in Wyoming who doesn't have a cowboy hat. I don't know everybody in Wyoming, but I'm just saying. There's a lot of cowboys in Wyoming. Tetons. Oh, this was my view out our kitchen window when I lived in my mom's house she grew up in Elk, Wyoming. And Targhee. Greatest powder. Ask Taylor Howard. He'll tell you. I know he'll never watch this, but he's a friend of mine that knows Targhee snow. So good. Number 4, Pennsylvania. Look at that buggy. And this is my first attempt at a Quaker motif. Not my favorite, but I still love it. Look at this. And yes, it was one of the original 13 colonies, so those will all have these flags. Oh, I really love how this one turned out. Those, oh, Yeah, that's one of my favorites so far. They're all my favorites. I am having a blast learning things about each state. I hope that I can live up to my state's motto that I live in and the people who founded the states. If I already put this in the video somewhere, I'm going to be repeating it. I'm going to be so mad. Anyway, Utah. So good. When the Mormons were exiled from Missouri, there was an order set to, it was legal to kill Mormons. Anyway, they left Nauvoo. They came out west and they came to Utah. They were so poor towards the end of their trekking across the United States that they made hand carts, these are called, and whatever they had left, mostly it was just provisions for food to be able to get out west. And of course there's a quilt. Maybe they had one chair. It's in their wagon. And of course we're the beehive state, and there's our seagull, the state bird. In the patterns, I am having so much fun, and my husband helps and adds some stuff too about each state, and we have learned so much, and it's seriously just been so special. He actually said that this one brought tears to his eyes, putting the information in about Pennsylvania. So go read that. You'll enjoy it. Oh, I was going to show you the backs that I'm putting on. So this is Utah. Look at that with the gold gingerbread in there. And then just, I mean, at first I thought, oh, I'll just do them all kind of Americana, this navy, you know, or kind of basic. And then I was like, oh, but look at that floral on the back of Wyoming. And look at this floral on the back of Utah and Pennsylvania. And I was like, oh. Anyway, I'm having a blast with my backing fabrics for each one of these. I hope you will too. All right. My ticker's still going. Looks like everything's good. Oh, giveaways. Really quick. Whew, let's see how fast I can do these and tell you who won. All right, the candles go to Cindy Martinez and Susan LaPiano. I hope I said that right. I love that your last name has piano in it. So that's our candle winners. And then our Statehood Splendor series, the Idaho and the Delaware chart, are going to Carol Balmer. And then the linens, I'm going to randomly just send you each a linen because I didn't have anybody specify which one they want. But here's the 3 Dove Stitch linen winners. Chris Washburn, Nana_McStuffing, I know who you are, on Instagram, and Carmen Taylor. I probably know some of you others on Instagram too. But email me in the drop-down box, and I'll need your addresses, and I'll get these yummy prizes out to you. So what is my next giveaway? It is the 3 new charts. I will send those out, so you'll get Wyoming, Pennsylvania, and Utah in paper form. And I'm also going to send you guys a big, well, not huge, but like a bag about this big of the sawdust I just got, because it's yummy. It is good stuff. I don't know if it's oak or pine, but so yeah, 3 charts plus 1 bag of sawdust. And here's what I want you to use. Use the word sawdust in your comments to be entered into that drawing. Just the one this time. All right, Flosstube. I'll input this video somewhere here in the middle. And if I repeat myself, I am so sorry. Happy 4th. Happy patriotic summer. Happy summer. Happy everything. Keep it positive. All right. One more short insert here. Brenda and Laura also mentioned something about they didn't know the reason for the order of my releases of the Statehood Splendor States. And I talked about, I think, think in my last video a little bit, but here's just that explanation once again. I did not want to just start with the very first state and all the 13 colonies, because everybody on the East Coast would be getting charts first, and so it would just kind of migrate. And within a year, you know, it would finally be ending out in the West and with Hawaii and Alaska. So I decided to do it based on my history in the United States and rotate it with the beginning states. So that's why Delaware was second. So I was born in Idaho, then I did Delaware. I traveled to and lived in Wyoming second. So that's why Wyoming is number 3. And then Pennsylvania was the second state, so it was number 4. Then number 5, Utah is probably, I mean, I've lived there and I live here now, of course, but it's probably the next state I actually visited as a child too. So that's why Utah was number 5th. So number 6 will go back to the east, and we will just bounce back and forth. I just think that was more fair for everybody. And meaning whether you're on the West Coast or the East Coast, or even in the Midwest, you've probably either traveled, lived in, or were born in one of those states on the East and the West. So yeah, some of the Midwest states, like I've lived in some and I've traveled in some, so those are going to be coming up too. It won't be left till the very end. Hawaii is number 50. It's the last one. I wanted to celebrate its 50, being the 50th state on purpose. So it is number 50. I will give you that as fair warning. All right, that's it. Okay, I'm inserting this one somewhere because I kind of forgot at the end of my video. So one more quick little thing. I promised you a yarn, a knitting project, and then I also promised you update on my big whips, I believe, and I forgot them last video. So here we go. Let's do the bigs whips real quick, and my progress. I hope you want to see it. Maybe we'll see, and it'll inspire you to do something else like big. I have watched a lot of people and seen pictures of their A Savior's Praise, and I just admire so much that you can do such a big project. And I know a lot of littles add up to a big, but it's hard to maintain and decide, you know, when you're really having a lot of fun doing smalls to decorate your house with, and for holidays and things like that, to then always come back and center yourself by doing a really big project. So I didn't iron these, but I am going to show you real quick my progress. So A Savior's Praise. Oh, I want this one done so bad. But this is how far I've gotten. I've come up the side a little bit from last time, and I'm not sure, I had a word or two done, but I finished the words here in the middle, and I'm just super excited to be on the house and the grass. And if I move that thread, you'll see the one little dog running across the grass. Oh, and some bees. I love everything about this. And once again, thank you to designers who make such beautiful projects. Thank you, Teresa Bennett. Oh, one thing I did notice too, when I'm stitching with other things and kind of hurrying through the smalls and all this different kind of thread, like the silk and the cottons, I think Teresa Bennett said once that Anchor is a little bit thicker than DMC and the other cotton threads, and I sat and worked on just this one after doing a bunch of other littles for a while, and it's true. Anchor is a little thicker. It covers better. So that's one of my recommendations. If you're going to go with a 36 count, you want better coverage, try the silks and try the Anchor. See how it works for you. All right, other project. Okay, other big. There's just the 3 bigs. I'm not including Marianne or Marianne Bourne's, Miss Marianne Bourne's, because I haven't worked on that one a lot. Like, I made a little more of the beehive, but that was about it. So I'm not going to show you that one. On Early Americans. I did tell you last time I got Nathan Hale's house done. I posted on my drop-down box. Hold on one sec. Sorry, my furnace when it turns on is right there. And I had to close the door so you can hear me. Okay, so I think I put in the drop-down box with the Early American silk conversion and doing it on We the People that I added poison apple for Nathaniel's house. And at first I thought, oh, it's kind of bright, but it also looks like real brick to me, real used brick. I actually really like it, but go with a darker red. Go do whatever you want, you know, find the one that works for you. And of course I'll throw it in a couple other places as I get down here to the finish. But then I also finished the Freedom block. And I tried to do kind of a blotchy, spotty grass, and I think I achieved that, but I also think it kind of looks like camouflage instead of a striped grass because of the hand-dyed look. Where do I have more of a striped grass? I guess up here. That's the same thread in Martha Washington's house as it is the Liberty or Freedom block. So, a little bit at a time. Goals for this year? To get all 3 of these bigs done. Oh, I don't know though, doing those other the Stated Splendors and stuff is definitely taking up some time. Goals are good though. Goals are good. Even if you don't finish them, you still have some work done. That's awesome. That's what I'm going with. Okay, so consider the lilies. I definitely got the fox done. And that fruit basket. And what am I starting on there? Whatever's next to the fox. And you know, I'm not an orange or peachy person, but I really like the flowers and the colors in this and the way they're all combined. I really feel like it's the full rainbow in Heartstrings samplers. Consider the lilies. It's got everything, so why not? You have to have, you know, all the colors sometimes in certain projects because they need it. It's necessary. Let's see. All right. And my one knitting project. Other than I do dish rags here and there, my mother-in-law and I kind of came up with a general rule. We were talking one day about starting a sweater or something big, and how if you haven't knitted for a while, just go do a dish rag or 2. And I'm talking about just the traditional one that you learn on that starts at the bottom and increases with a yarn over knit 2 togethers and then decreases. It helps you just kind of like bring it back home, get your gauge settled back to a consistent gauge. And if you're bothered by your gauge, just do a bunch of dish rags. Get a consistency going so that it just feels the same every time you pick up your needle and your yarns. I really appreciated what Colorado cross stitcher Sherry said about a guy that came to their store about I think it was a chiropractor, to talk to women about you know, if you're knitting or you're cross stitching all the time, you can get really cramped hands and your fingers can start to curve and even kind of curve in. And she talked about how, you know, there's different exercises you can do and make sure you stretch your hands out. Oh, see, that hurts quite good. That means I should be doing it because it can hurt all the way down your arms. But she also recommended that it's really good to switch the size of yarn and the size of your needles. So don't find a favorite weight and only knit with that on your yarn, or a favorite size needle. So like, because it's just cramping your hands into one position, where if you have bigger needles or bigger yarn, you have to extend. So you're going to use a different muscle set when you change it up like that. So thanks, Sherry. That was such a good recommendation. Okay, here's my one knit project. Sorry for the crinkles. My pattern's all bent. Here's my Christy Archer bag. By the way, I'm not sure I specifically talked about this bag that I bought from her, but I love it. It's very well made, you guys. I'd go get a Christy Archer bag if you need one. All right, so here I am on a shawl. So, I don't know how long ago it was. I went to retreat and I asked the girl that I took the knitting class from. So this is the handwork retreat that I was talking to you about that I have been to. The girl that teaches our knitting classes, cute Paula, I said to her, okay, I need to graduate from what I've been doing and do a shawl. I really want a shawl. Because you can take them anywhere. You take them to the movie. You still look like you have clothes on. You know what I mean? But you have like, basically a shawl's an Afghan. It's like a baby bluey, blankie, whatever, right? You're going to take it with you and it's comfortable and it keeps your shoulders and your neck warm. So she showed me this pattern that she had just been doing, and I didn't do my homework to see where you can find it or purchase it. She loaned me this pattern, so I better do my homework better. I'm guessing it's on Ravelry though, and it is such an easy stitch because all you have to know is knit two together, yarn over, and SSK and KFB, knit front and back. There's not a reference on here. It makes me wonder if, Paula, if you're watching this, send me that info, because I know you just loaned me this pattern so we can get it out there. But if you knitters want to go check anyway, just go look this one up on Ravelry and see if it's available there. So it's Isabeau Knits, and this one is called Quills. But look how gorgeous this is. This is just garter stitch, so knitting back and forth, and then it makes this very slight little ruffle here. And she calls for fingering weight yarn, which I love doing fingering weight. I'm pretty sure that the thing I showed you last time, the cowl, was fingering weight, and I loved fingering weight. If I can pick a yarn that I like working on the best, it's fingering weight, because it's, once again, it's just kind of small detailed stuff that I love. But I decided to switch it up on this one because a recommendation from Paula was do it instead of on fingering, like try it in a heavier weight like DK or Sport, and just, you know, go with a slightly smaller yarn than the DK calls for. So once again, I need my glasses on. Hold on. Sorry, got all my stuff taken off before I realized I forgot this part of the video. So I am doing this shawl on size 7 US clover. I think these are called bamboo circular needles. And I love wood needles. They're my favorite. They're just soft. They don't make a clicking noise and they aren't as slippery as the metal. But that's just my preference, right? There's no police. We all have our own preference on what we get to do. So here's what it looks like so far. Look at that beautiful little pattern it makes. And it's just an ever so slight little gather. Or I should say ruffle. And I'm almost halfway done. I think I have 30 sets done and there's 40 or 42. Oh, and this color, I love this color. It's beautiful. That yarn I got at the Loopy Ewe when I went through town. And it is an affordable, basic cascade yarn that is a 220. I think it is. It's 100% Peruvian Highland wool, made in Peru. Cascade Yarns is out of Seattle, Washington. So it is dyed yarn. They have beautiful colors too. And you know, so is that the weight, 220 weight? Because it doesn't say on here anything but that. So yeah, Cascade Yarns, 220. But I believe that's like a DK sport weight, maybe sport. So just one notch up from fingering. So yeah, if you have any questions, call Sherry. She'll know all the details on there over at the Loopy Ewe. Oh, and this color, in case you're wondering, which was my favorite color in the whole store, because I wanted kind of a robin egg blue, but this is obviously deeper and has a little more gray in it. The color is 9635. It doesn't have a name for the color. It's just, that's what it has on it. And I think this is a perfect starter shawl. Just perfect. If you have any questions about that, let me know. And if you can't find it on Ravelry, you know, check your local yarn shops. Sherry might know. She might have it. But she also recommends Ravelry for like all the patterns. And I think that's it. That's it on the knitting segment. Then we're done. And I apologize. Anyway, apology, no apologies, whatever. I know some of you really like the long ones, and I do too. And feel like I really get something done while I stitch. But watch it in segments if you have to too, if it's not your thing to sit that long too. All right, last segment. So when I went to Idaho last time and visited my mom and dad, we went to two really cute stores, the White Sparrow and Archer, where they have made to look old decorative items. So like that big bread bowl or dough bowl I showed or lifted up here came from there. And then we went into town into Rexburg, and there's another store called All Occasions, antiques and reproduction antiques, and she is the sweetest lady. We also got, while we were there, a couple things, but one thing in particular was this huckleberry pepper jelly made by Leaping Lizard, or Lizards. I think it's Leapin, I-N apostrophe, Lizard. And she said, now here's what you do with it. You pour it over cream cheese like any other good pepper jelly, and you eat it with crackers. Oh, so good. Leaping Lizard has a website. Highly recommend that. Okay. Also, what I got there was this little box. And you can tell this is old wood, I think, because there's smudges of paint on it. And I FFO'd my Easter Brenda Gervais Jelly Bean Jubilee. so Carol gets stitching them. Only because I can't even tell you how much I love these. They are so cute. So I went to retreat a few months ago, a quilting retreat, right after like the mask mandate lifted here in Utah. And we came home with this little framed thing that had bees on it. There was just like a little piece of paper that said "Be Happy," or I can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, oh my gosh, that would be really cute with something mounted on it. Well, guess what fits inside of it? Brenda Gervais Easter Bunny Jubilee sign. And I think I did this on 36 count. I wish I could show you what's in here, but those of you that went to retreat with me, not that the bee thing wasn't cute, I just knew I would decorate more if I did it with this, so this is what fits in it, in case you want to alter it like I did. So there's that finish. And then here's this gal, the Jelly Bean Gardener. And you guys, if you ever question doing this little fiddly stuff that's like just, you know, dust bunnies out here in the outer far legions of linen, don't question doing it. Just do it. Because look how cute it makes it. Oh, it just adds so much. And Brenda Gervais is kind of famous for these little fiddly doodads. And they're so cute. So I watched, I told you last time I watched Lindy Stitches. She does a pom-pom tutorial for the mini pom-poms, taking it off the ribbon that it comes on and then hand stitching it on. And yeah, that was a lot of work, but it's totally, totally worth it. Look, I gotta get my face out of it so you can see the pom-poms. Oh, there it is. So they're just like super, super tiny. Yeah, and these I think I got from ladydotcreates on Etsy. DamesoftheNeedle is the one I couldn't remember last time, that also has little trims and things that are hand dyed. They're awesome. All right, so there's one. I'm going to show you this one next. Has the same green pom-poms, same fabric on the back. I added a little bow of that little silky polyester, whatever that's called, ribbon. And there's those guys with their carrots. So cute. And these, I think all of them have sawdust except one. So you can just like mush them around and make them fit, whatever. Now, the story on this fabric on the back, because I did some kind of heavy, rustic, funky linen on these two. I'll show you those in a second. I wanted to kind of primitive up, kind of just mess up, keep that kind of fairly grungy look on some very sweet little projects. So I did, this fabric was white, but I loved how it just looked like, you know, grandma's house coat or apron. That ages me. So I did use my Instant Antique from Primitive Gatherings for backs of the pillows. Not just, I mean, you can use it on the front if you want to put it on the front of your stitching, but I put it on the back to grunge them up a little bit so it looked like grandma's apron that she'd used all her life. Okay, so there's those two. Now, velvet. Can we talk about velvet for a second? I have it from both ladies, a couple samplings of it. Both ladydotcreates and Lois. Super cute. I love linen on the backs of the pillow pin keeps. Oh, because it's just so soft and it's so sweet. And her dyes and colors are really, really good. This is glued on edging that I got at a rickrack at an antique store. But there's the tall, skinny chick that I called it last time. And yes, look at those bees. Oh, I gotta grab really quick so I can show you the comparison. I almost forgot. I told you I did one little tulip on 40 count. So this is the exact same tulip, 40 count. Oh, I can't remember which linen that is, but that's how tiny it is, and then how your pattern can change depending on which linen you put it on. And of course I didn't put the stem on this one, but that's a scissor fob with the same rickrack. And velvet. Oh, even though velvet is known to be such a kind of a posh, you know, beautiful, luxurious thing, on these little primitives, oh, it's just perfect. Okay, so this is the same linen as this. No, yeah, it's just turned the other way. So this little chick ended up being kind of squatty, or this guy ended up being really tall. Just go out on a limb and have fun with your stuff. Do, you know, crazy linen. It's been super fun. Okay, this is the last one. Mr. Bunny painting his egg. And this is the 40 count linen. Sorry, I gotta put him in front of my face so you can see him. Mini pom-poms again with this light blue velvet on the back. And sawdust. So this one doesn't have sawdust. I decided because of its size I'd try the wool, and look how thin I got it. Because as you steam it, it compresses and it stays. I love the wool. All right, so let's finish up. I'll show you one more time this cute little arrangement. Oh, and then this is lace. Of course, it's not antique lace or hand dyed. It's just a little teeny one I got from Joann or Hobby Lobby. And I glued it on. And so I glued it around this edge first, and the points were just kind of sticking out. It's also what I put in there. So I had a little bit of a teeny tiny gap that you could see the white background. So I just took one piece of lace and glued it down here also. So because those little points stuck straight out, I just put a little dab of glue on each point so that it would lay down. And it made it even sweeter. Oh, this one has wool too. Look how like little he is. I forgot I did wool on this one too. So yeah, wool stuffing. It's kind of one of my favorites. Did I just lose one? No. Watch me losing my chicks. So there you go. Little. Oh man, sometimes I just don't know about arranging all this stuff. Really, it's all about like, can you get it in a position so that it doesn't slide down in your bowl, right? So you have enough stuff in it that supports it, keeps it from losing its place. I know it's not Easter, but get ready for next year. Just do it. And call all occasions in Rexburg, Idaho, and see if she has any more of these little boxes, because they fit perfect. Oh, and there they did a slide. Anyway, so cute. Okay, last thing. My dad sent me, and I also got some scissors to take pictures, but my dad sent me some of his, and I call it Mom and Dad's on my website because it's Mom's idea and Dad's craftsmanship. So he sent me some of these. I have some on my website. Some are gold, some are silver, and I added a little pine cone charm because pine needles, right? And it does not get in the way of putting your scissors in. So I ordered from Hoop and Frame, who I've enjoyed working with, a couple pairs of scissors to show you what can go in here. Now the chains come with it, and of course the pine, the little charm. This is just craft chain that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I attached it with the split ring into one of the links because I didn't want it to be the kind of thing where your, you know, hook was moving around. And it's 30 inches, so you can just put it over your head. You don't even have to undo the clasp, so that makes it easier for our hands doing all this little stuff. The silver needles that I ordered from Hoop and Frame, I did order it, you know, all the descriptions for 3.5 or 4-inch needles will say, of course, they're 3.5, but they're not all created equal. Some are a little bit more. Some are right at 3.5. Some are a tad more. But the 4-inch scissors are too big for these holsters. So all of your scissors that are like 3 3/4 or 3.5 fit in here. If they say 3.5 when you're ordering them, they should fit. So these are both Bohin ones that I purchased. I mostly purchased the bunny one because I like it, but I wanted to see if it fits in the holster. Also, I just ordered this other set of Bohin, which I happen to have a little gold pair too. I think my mother-in-law gave me these years and years ago. She would do cute stuff like that for Christmas and give us 2 or 3 little sets of needle or scissors to have in different places, like your closet. She said, think about it. You know, sometimes when you're getting dressed, there's a string or something hanging off your clothes somewhere, and why not have a pair of scissors hanging on a hook in your closet to snip those off? So I've always kept a pair of scissors in my closet. She taught me lots of cool stuff like that. The other one was just having craft scissors in the kitchen to open up all your frozen vegetable bags, or, you know, I use them every day, probably. Just craft scissors, nothing fancy, but that's another really good place to have a pair of scissors for cooking, for food prep. So anyway, get your 3.5-inch scissors for the holster, because the holster does not come with scissors, okay? Because I want to keep the cost down as much as we can for a beautiful handmade item from my dad. I think my dad's like 84 this year. Yeah, my mom will be 81. And I think it's awesome to stay young and do meaningful things, smart things, and just keep your life full of joy and comfort that way, and busyness, you know, keep busy. So the rabbit scissors, I love. Charm falls down so it doesn't get in your way of getting them in and out. So if you wear these on your chain and you just let them, you know, be there, they're just cute. Then you always have your pair of scissors and you're not going to lose them. And remember, they're not going to fall out either because this is really snug. So just get them shoved down in there. It might stretch a little bit because it's leather. It's hobby leather from Hobby Lobby. The chains that I found that were the 30-inch chains from Hobby Lobby. The gold is a very more delicate chain, but it has the little antique brass pine thing too. And I'll show you another pair of scissors that are 3.5 in here. So I just recommend holding them in both hands, putting it in, and you're good to go. So the gold is really pretty too. I think it's really pretty with this color leather. So there you go. a new little gadget or tool that will hopefully once again make your stitching easier. One thing I notice when I watch other people is their goodbyes or their salutations are so sweet. Carol, I love it that you say love you at the end of your videos. It's very endearing and very kind. And you know, there's Just Keep Stitching. Everybody has a nice little goodbye. I want you to know, just like Carol, I love you. I want you to have a good time with your stitching. I want you to enjoy your creativity, and I hope the best for every single one of you. And want us to always remember our things that we have in common as human beings and as stitchers, and that we can love always and love big. Thank you, Flosstube. See you next time. Bye-bye.